Hold on a minute. There we go. Okay, so this live will be for any tutorial stuff, working on miscellaneous projects, and giving out any advice I can to anybody who wants to know anything. And I will make sure after stream, if it all goes according to plan, I will give out whatever advice I can and whatever. Hey Nat. Yeah. I decided to end the Spider-Man stream just so I can do like a tutorial stream and stuff like that, working on whatever projects I can, and also just giving out advice to anybody who wants it, so I can like have this stream as a recommended for anybody who wants to know certain stuff. So I have a drawing request. Okay, hit me with it. What do you want me to draw? Within reason. I don't have any photo reference with me, so it's not going to be as perfect as I like it to be. Nat? Hello? What do you want me to draw? Well, while I wait on her to submit her request, I will give you my way of how sometimes I do. Crocodile or a reptile of your choice. Well, actually, I technically beat you to that, but in a certain extent, a couple months back, if it's in this journal, I will draw an actual crocodile though. But give me just a second. If you already saw it, that's good to know. If it's in here, I thought it was in this book. I did a painting of Killer Croc, or I did the penciling and then I did the painting part. I thought it was in this book. I will do it in a second. I'm just I'm looking. But I will do the tutorial for like how I do faces, or if I have anything drawing wise of like, I'll do the requests, but give me just a moment to find this. It's been very, very annoying today. This book is. It's either, I thought it was in this book, so maybe it's not, and it's in the other one. There it is. First freaking page. I know it's not an exact crocodile, but hada. But I will do that drawing request in a second. But first, for anybody who wants to learn how to draw faces or draw different stuff. So there's multiple ways to do it. It's more depending on style and what you are intending to draw. So I could say, yeah, I could say that from a side view, because a friend actually helped me with this. I have like 6. Yeah. So from a side view, it's like a circle and a half oval, and then put a line here. But you can do it mentally. You don't have to always do it, what's it called? Unless you're using a very light lead. And also, hold on, I'm trying to fix the camera, see if the lens is dirty. It also could just be the lighting in here. Give me a second. Fix that. The lighting should be fixed. And what else? Enable flash. There we go. So this way you guys can actually see. And then put the ear would be here. So that would be like your side view. From a front view, it would be maybe it's more of like, there's multiple ways to do it. I just do it as, treat it like I start from one side and work my way to another. the chin is always can be whatever shape you want. You can do a circular, because I kind of treat it like a U, depending on what type I'm doing. You could treat it like, depending on whatever type of face you're doing, whether it's anime or it's la-di-da-di-da. Because there's like, sometimes the best thing you could do is have like a reference with you. So for instance, if you're doing a character in a mask, for instance, Batman here, let's say I start with the lips first, so it's easier. So, because lips are just at first really, depending on the emotion you're going for, just a line. And then you have two other lines, one for the top, one for the bottom. Then let's say the mask is like covered by the point of the nose underneath here. So you would have two dots to represent the nostrils that are half hidden. Will you live stream tomorrow? Just wondering, because I need viewers. Well, if you want, if I don't have to live stream. If you're going to be doing live stuff tomorrow and you want more viewers and stuff, that's fine. I can, I don't want to stop you if you don't, like, because you don't have to join my lives, if you need to do something. Will you watch mine? Yeah, I'll try to. If I don't have any plans on doing live stuff tomorrow, I'll try to make it and watch if I can. But yeah. But let's say, so for instance with Batman, so you have the two triangles for the mask part. So this is easy. Then you have two straight lines to the side, which is easy. And then you can do like a point here, like a half triangle. It should be around 3. Okay. For like 10 minutes. Okay. And then like a curvature for the facial structure, because that's more, if you have like a certain way you're trying to do it, like it doesn't have to be the exact way I'm doing it. Like you can find your own way. You can take, because here's the thing, to any artist out there that, best advice I can give you, you could watch this and sit there and say, okay, I have to do it this way. You don't. This is just how I do it. You can find your own way of doing something, because it doesn't have to be perfect. You can, like you could sit here and say, okay, so that's like how you do, as you can see, like the mask shape is not the best. It's not going to be the best. No one can do something perfect. So like, for instance, the best character I can draw, for instance, if you want to call it that, is Spider-Man, because he's like a walking mannequin. So you start with the head, which is like a giant oval. Let's treat it like that. The eyes, you can make them very expressionate. So like make them like a two giant triangle squares. They don't have to be perfect. They don't have to, the neck would be a giant cylinder. And you don't have to always do it like a certain way. Like if you want to use a reference and you don't want to fool with the anatomy side of things, that's all well and good. Sometimes I just kind of like look at something and figure out my own way. Anatomy wise, let's say the chest is multiple squares. And it doesn't have to be perfect. And then you have the triangle for the waist, another cylinder here, dot, circle, dot, not dot, cylinder, and then dot, and scribble, and then, and then just another cylinder, and then you can put what's it called for the knee. Now, does it have to be perfect? Your anatomy does not, no, but anatomy is key. I'm not very good at it. No, am I going to do the anatomy of something beforehand? Sometimes, depending on what I'm doing. But most of the time I'm very structured on how I do stuff. So, for, let's say you're doing a sketch. Let's go with something random. Let's say you're doing a person from the side. So let's say you do the anatomy part. You do here, do the ear, which is just a giant, what's it called? Do the neck area here. And then let's say you don't want to really fool with the head, or you don't like how that's turning out. So let's say you put a line through here and you put them in a beanie if you're doing a guy. And then you just start doing their hair from up there. And then you do a line here for the nose area. Yes, me sketching a person right now. Yeah, see, then you do, like, this would be right here above the nose would be where your eyes would be. Down below the nose lips would be. And then after that you do, this is like a rough sketch, so you're not gonna see me like do full on this, that, or the other. But just to give like an idea of like, because this was going to be a video, but I figured it'd be better as a live stream, because to give some semblance for people who want to learn how to draw people or want to learn how to draw something. So like, for instance, with an animal, let's say a dog, for their noses, or a lion. Okay, a lion. Like, they have very similar noses. Like, it's a straight line, sometimes, depending, and two curves. And then you can put a curve up to the top, and then do that. And then for like a lion, if you're wanting to draw like a lion, it's just simple. If it's a front view, it's most of the time like a square, and then up, and then like the nose, and then to that. Now, that's not perfect. Of course, it's not going to look as grand as people they're expecting. Like, oh, that looks terrible. Can you do ears and nose tutorial? Okay, so for noses, I'm not very good at them. Ears are simple. So there's multiple ways you can draw ears. So, well, let me finish with faces and stuff. So with faces, think of the face in three parts. So from front, it is the top bit would be like where the forehead would be, the lower bit, the jaw. Same with women, but more of a curvature whenever you're doing them. And it's like, in your head, you can do it in multiple ways. You don't have to always draw the line, but you can if you're more of that person. So goes from up. So here would be where the eyes would be. This would be under this line right here. Here would be where the nostrils would be. So this would be where the nose would be. And where this triangle, I'm putting like a rough idea. And here would be mouth, and here would be the bottom lip, and the last part would go to chin. Now, you could do another line for the hairline if you're one of those from the front. I don't do it that often, but yeah. Same for women, same thing applies. From the side, a friend gave me a better perspective on this, which all credit goes to her. She actually has a tutorial from drawing faces from the side. She explains it a lot better than I am, or I can. But circle, bottom, down, up, circle, and ear. So, but back to, so for noses, there's multiple ways you can draw noses. Because it's been done multiple ways. For me, how I do it is I treat it like a giant M. Do one for the nostril, one for here, one for here. That's how I used to do it. Now it's not perfect, because that's one way. The other way is just doing a giant J, curve for the nostril and darken this bit, and then do another one and then go up. Or not up, but keep it like that. That's for like a side. Some people do like a circle and kind of go half up and then erase the tip of the circle, which I have a crappy eraser. And keep the curvature here as it goes up, and then do a nostril, and then here, another nostril here. I'm not very good with noses, so like there's multiple ways you can do it. Danny Phantom, did it like this, like just a line, a triangle. There's depending on like the person, there's no way you can really count on any of the noses ever being the same. So like depending on like that, there's multiple ways you could do noses, and no nose is going to be perfect. No nose is going to be the same. If you have a reference, that's all well and good. Like, as long as you keep like the foundations of like, depending on your pose, there's ways you can do it and it be all well and good. So like there's multiple ways to do it. Like that would be the Danny Phantom way. There's like you can rely on comic book styles and stuff like that, or cartoon styles, how they do things. Like if you look at a lot of when I did characters' noses, like there's some that are big and stuff, but you all see one thing they have in common. I relied heavily on this technique of just straight line down, curve, nostril, nostril here, and then up. Now, the problem with that technique is the cylinder sometimes is too big. So, like in my head, that's how you see it, is like visible cylinder, a circle, and a curve, and another curve. That's how I would see it. That would be the shapes in my head. How to use a blending stick. That one I can't give you because I'm not. I haven't really done that yet. I might do that later, but first things first. I gotta do ears next, but I'm giving like a little thing for noses. But like depending on your facial structure, like what you're doing for posing. So let's say you're doing this from the side, you can get away with not doing like a full nostril. Or like for instance, if you're doing an upward pose, you can focus more on the nostrils and then like add curvature and stuff like that, and then add like depending on what you're doing. Like if you have like a reference, that's all in good. Like you can figure out what exactly works for you. Like so for me, for ears, I do ears a certain way. So like most of my ears are a curve and a small circle and a line. Like there's multiple ways to do ears. So like you can do a more square ear, like an elf ear. So like treat it like how I see ears is mostly The inner layer is what's always the difficult part, but um I treat ears like this. They're basically a giant sphere. Not sphere, but there's a certain shape. An oval? I think it's an oval. Yeah. Um Oval is like an oval for me. That's how I treat it. Now you can, depending on your pose, so let's say I'm doing a pose from the front, you can have it to where you just see the lobes, or let's say, because they're like cylinders. You can treat them like the lobes are like cylinders, and you're focused on the anatomy or the shapes of something. Um, you can treat that like that, and then like a rectangle, circle, and the inner layer. Whatever, like, study that. Um, like there's multiple ways you can do it. Like with blending sticks, I don't. There's more people. Like I haven't used those a whole lot, so for me, Hey Beta, how are you? I thought I would do a stream just giving out like a tutorial for people if they want to learn different stuff, and at least how I do it. Now I am not experienced, but I'm trying. I'm gonna try to go and do. Are you trying to go and do your last stream, but you ended it? I was trying to go to your. Oh yeah. Um. I ended it. I'm planning on redoing it later. I just wanted to get the art stream and like a tutorial on the first, and then I'm gonna do back and do the gaming one later. So sorry about that. I should have probably kept it going and paused it, but I wanted to get this one done because I wanted to try and have this out the way for different people, because I think like there's so many ways to draw certain stuff. I figured, and one of them, a subscriber asked me if like I would do a tutorial for like faces and stuff. So I was kind of like, I've been meaning to do it as a video, but I kept forgetting. I gotta go. Sorry, bye. Oh, that's okay. See you, Nat. I wanted to do that or this first, and then I'm gonna do a game. Go back and do the Marvel Spider-Man stream here in a bit. Sorry that you tried to join. I ended it. I'm sorry. That's on me. um, Hopefully you're doing good. Uh, so yeah, I think the last thing I need to do is like a tutorial for like eyes, and eyes are kind of simple but tricky. Depending there, you actually gave me another. I like you said that there's from a side view there for at least women. Um, they're like two curves, then half curve for the center, and then the pupil, and then like another circle, and then in here. So there's one way to do it from the side. The other way is more just that, and that. Um, da 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 da. Da, 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 da. Eyes are really just simple. Um, kind of. They're tricky as all hell, but to me they're simple. I'm gonna probably restart the gaming stream here in a bit. If Do you still want to see me play Spider-Man, or do you want to see me play what is it called, Batman, or do you just want to see something different entirely, like Control or something? Spider-Man, I guess. Okay. That's all good. I'll do that here in a bit. How about Control? I might do Control because I haven't played that on stream yet. Because it's very interesting. It's weird and wacky when it comes to visuals. Like even to when it comes to like even if I was to draw, let's say the face of the lady, there's multiple ways. Like from the side view, curvature, and bingo. And from the side view of this, the other half could be in shadow. So like you just focus half like light, like figure out your darkness and darks and lights. Here's the nostril. And then the one thing I can't give a tutorial on because I don't fully grasp it myself is shadowing and stuff like that. I'm no artist, no genius artist. I can't go and tell people like this is the exact way to do it. No, this is just me giving a rough idea for people. Like say, this is how I do things. This is just my way. No one has to listen to me. But if you want to take some inspiration for how I do things, go right ahead. You're all well and good. There's plenty of better artists that can give a better tutorial or a better perspective than I can. So yeah. So yeah. This is also was suggested for like how to draw faces and stuff, but I took the time to really just throw out some other stuff for like how to draw certain things, like because like anatomy wise I struggle and I don't have a very clear concept for anatomy, but I do know like there's plenty of ways to really like squeeze a body through like rough sketching, it says 2 people are watching, so I'm betting the second one is either the guy or Lynn or maybe Nat or somebody. Which is all well and good. I'm glad actually people like to watch. So because there's so many ways you can do things. There's not like a clear-cut way of drawing it because it's mostly out of your mind's eye what you can do. Like for instance, what I like about these books right here is at the back of them, it shows like his rough sketch process, like you can see like the pencils and what he was using and like some of the shapes and some of the dynamics and like the shadowing and stuff, and like nothing looks perfect and stuff. So like for me, like I'm the same way when it comes to certain things, is that nothing I'm gonna do is gonna be perfect. Like there's no clear-cut way of drawing stuff like but yeah, I think I'll work a little bit on this last thing, which is just me doing a miscellaneous project, and then I will start the control stream here in a bit. But also, how has your day been, Beta? Just out of curiosity. You doing well? Nothing of importance? I think I'm gonna... Good so far, still. Got a free Sir Pie from 7-Eleven. Oh, that's cool. Got yourself a free pie. Free pie. Lovely. That's great. See? That's what I'm talking about. Free pie. That's awesome. Everybody loves a free pie. I haven't been to a 7-Eleven in forever. Or the other person that could be watching is that guy, or the one that's commented in the Batman stream, I think, with the butterfly icon. I can't remember their name or how to pronounce it. I don't want to butcher it, but it could be them watching. Or just somebody else entirely, which is all well and good. Too. But I will start the control stream here in a second, in a bit. I'm just wanting to finish this off. I'm trying to shade the cape. If you're wondering what I'm up to, I'm using the reference. I've added too much blue. And I'm probably going to have to go in and add like some white into the cape to give it more form, because it just does not look right, at least to me. Now, you probably think it looks fine, but I don't know. What do you think, Beta? Yeah, it does look fun. Yeah, I guess, maybe. I'm glad you think so. I'm very particular. I want something to look halfway with more form. I am using watercolors. It's not like I'm using acrylic gouache or gouache paint. So for me, it's more just about making sure I get as close as I can to what I was aiming for. I don't know how I've managed to use gouache paint, not gouache paint, but watercolors and make it look the way I've layered it to make it look as well as it does. But I won't question it. For me, at least. I guess I'm treating watercolors like I do gouache, even though I've only used them once, and the one brand I used was a very shitty brand. Note to self, don't get tubes that are the white type that are not professional tubes. Either that or just don't get tubes, period. I hate tubes. Tube paints are the worst, for me at least. They make a mess, they're difficult, they're hard to work with. They're the answer to F everything. Yeah. Do you like working with the tube paints, or do you not? You just can't do them from a tube and put them in like a palette or something? Tube paints usually. Well, then you're the kind of the opposite for me. I have a harder time with them. I've tried using them in the past, but I don't know. It's very weird for me using them. Yeah, I put them on a palette. Yeah, like I've tried using palettes. I've tried like understanding and stuff. It's just, I think it's because I use cheapies, and that's what really turned me off from using tubes. I think that what I need to do is, like, if I'm gonna get gouache paints, I'm gonna get the Newton gouache, and I'm gonna see if that makes a difference. because the stuff I was using was actually, it's over here. Wrong type, but replace it mentally with gouache, and you would see why why exactly that my gouache attempts failed, because I was using a cheapy brand. Ugh, fudge. By the way, did you see what I was showing you, or did it not? Or was it too quick? And if it was, I can go and re-grab them. I don't think so. Huh? No, I don't think so. For the brand or the thing, like, have you ever used those, or was it just too quick for me to show you, or talking too darn fast? Brand thing, I think. Oh yeah, the brand I was using. Ow, my back. Well, at least trying. I thought this was a good brand, but it was called Art's Loft. Real cheap. I think they even. I think even Scott used them at one point, and he said that they're not that good. Scott Christian Saba. I think because he did a short using them for a clown painting, if I remember correctly. And he did like a comparison later against Newton gouache paints. I'm trying to finish this stinking cape, or at least make it look or have more form to it. I think what I need to do is what I'm gonna have to do is like get like I'm gonna try using some white to the best of my ability. To lighten it up. It is extremely difficult. Speaking of art and art projects and stuff like that, got an interesting question for you. Have you ever actually tried doing like your own version, like kind of like doing like a rough sketch, like for anything of like a how should I say this? Actually, better just to give you an example. A rough sketch of like a scene or something for like a graphic novel or something of like your own, thing, like I wouldn't call it like a comic or something, but like have you ever tried doing like something like that at all, ever, just out of curiosity? I think at some point I tried that. Yeah, I think we all have once in a while. But yeah, I was curious because if you have and you're better at it than me, I was gonna have a suggestion for at one point a project we could collab on stream, and I can give you like an idea for a scene, and then like we work on a full on thing, like a graphic novel, and like test the waters and see if that would be something cool. Yeah, it would be fun. Because I did have a few ideas and stuff, and I wanted to do like a page, like I thought we could do it like whatever would come easiest. If like we could do like multiple variations of it, like have it like if you want to do like a digital version, but like make it like almost like a painted style, or we could do it like um you know, this, that, or the other. I think it would be cool. Um because I was thinking about it for a while, and the only reason I have not done like a comic or nothing, or like a graphic novel, I think I did try to do one page. I think I tried to do something once. Um, and I'm not happy with how it turned out because I'm not a good writer, and the writing on it looked a little bit god awful. Like the art looked okay, I guess. It wasn't perfect, but the sheer concept of it was But because I had two different graphic novel ideas and I wanted to do something, but the problem was like I cannot do scenes. I'm terrible at it, and I thought, hey, here's an idea. Let's find like if I ever find somebody to actually help me with it, it would be pretty cool. So yeah. Heck, there was one of them was actually the introduction of that. Remember that concept I did with the Horsemen of War? Well, one of them was supposed to be a scene with that, and the problem was me trying to figure out the anatomy of how I could pose him and stuff like that, and also because he's so big and bulky, and there's so much. Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Well, basically, there was like so much detail to add to that design, and the amount of like stuff that to go with it, like it being like this molten look, where basically it's like metal that's melted together, armor that's melted together, and stuff like that. And the thing was for me, it was the problem was just getting that to the page and having it look right, painted was becoming very annoying and extremely hard because the design was so crammed with detail and so this, that, and the other. I couldn't really figure out a unique way of putting it to the page. Like I wanted to, dear God, I wanted to. The thing was, the problem with for me was like I still didn't have a complete grasp on the story, and like I didn't want to. I think the only story I think I had a complete grasp on and what I wanted character wise and what I wanted to get out of it and how I pictured it working, I think was Penn had a more, even though I'm not sure on the title because it's very basic, but I don't care. Had a very interesting idea for a story. Like I think I tried to do like a graphic like voice over like for one of the chapters and like one of the introduction bits, and I wasn't too happy with it. I think two people noticed it, and it's on the channel, and I just kind of was like, I'm kind of iffy on this. I don't, and because the original opening was supposed to be the main characters on top of a rooftop or like a building, and basically he's self-reflecting, but also like he's about to jump off, like he's basically been through the ringer, and it's kind of to play on like Uncharted 2, I think, where like you like the idea for how I pictured the story in my head was where it begins at a very bad point, and then you catch up after this moment, and like you slowly catch up to the same moment, and then you finish out the rest of the story, is how I pictured how it would go, like similar to like Uncharted, in some sense. The only difference is it would be very dark. It would be very like I don't want it to be too dark where it's something like nobody could read, nobody likes, or like the character. But I wanted it to have character and have like a relatability factor. And I wanted like there would be like there was a few characters that I had in my head that I pulled. Like there was one, I think, that I had a concept of, which was a female character that was very, there was like a mixture of fetch that I took inspiration from, but I also took a lot of inspiration from something that happened in when I was very young, but also some real world aspects um, that are pretty dark and relatable, and also just like this. Well, let's just call her an extremely tragic and very like her circumstances are almost heartbreaking. And it was kind of designed to be, I don't want to fully go into the concept um because of how twisted the circumstances of her, and if I sent you like a script and then like you read her origin, you would just be like, what the absolute fuck, Jesus, they did that. Like how she, like it was like a lot of it was extremely dark. Like there was a lot of characters that I came up with that like were somewhat reflections of some stuff with me, and also like some bits of like just relatability. Like Depends Live reads some pretty fucked up stories. Yeah. Like for me, like when I came up with her character was designed to be extremely tragic, but also to play on someone who was, because you know how in real life, like some like drug dealers, or kidnap girls and pimp them and also drug them and stuff like that, and there's rape and stuff and like that. Well, basically, she has superpowers, but she was like that. That was like partially the inspiration for that. And the rape part, I don't want to get fully in depth, but it can happen to guys too. That's all I'll leave. I'll leave it at that. Um, but in the eyes of how I envisioned her, I took inspiration from Fetch, from Infamous First Light, if you've ever watched that, or played it, I should say, which most likely not, but I might do a live stream at one point playing it, for you to give like a somewhat idea of like what I had in my head. And I thought it would be cool to kind of like get this character, like a female character that was like extremely broken and almost like she's been through the ringer. And she's been almost mentally destroyed, physically destroyed, and but also like there's like that relatability of someone who's been there. Interesting how you took ideas to feel like would World War. Yeah, exactly. You put them. Yeah, and that's kind of what I was envisioning for like some of the characters. Like the idea was like it was the idea of the story was took inspiration from a lot of experiences that I've had, and like let's just say like the main character and some of these characters, they all have one thing in common, that they were taken, and then because they all had one thing in common in this world, is basically during a certain point in the world, basically certain kids that were born with a they're basically an extraordinary, not really extraordinary gene, but an anomaly in their genes, that whatever special, like some traits that they have, like it amplifies them and kind of like turns it into some type of power that they acquire, and whatever that's fueled by whatever circumstances, and sometimes it'll come to its surface. um for Sphinx, one of the characters, which was like one of the antagonists for like the first volume that I had, I actually used for him for one of that painted cover where you see the main character in the hood, and then you had him. He was a somewhat a quasi-Egyptian, like basically half black, half Egyptian character, but he took a lot of inspiration from Edward Nygma, basically the Riddler. Uh, Basically because of the Sphinx part, I thought, you know, puzzles and being very smart would be a pretty cool idea. But also, he also like takes like a lot of inspiration from like the effed up part of like um the minority side of things with slaves from the Egyptian side, but also like blacks, and like the race problems and stuff like that. And I figured having him be like a quasi, taking multiple issues on multiple fronts, but also having him be like very super smart and kind of like very, like I took a lot of inspiration from smart characters, but also I took a lot of like I from Virgil Hawkins from Static Shock, and maybe Ebon as like a crime, like he likes playing games with people mentally, physically. He knows how to, like, he's very smart. Like he's like the black version of an Egyptian version of Sherlock Holmes's Moriarty, where I took a lot of inspiration from those type of characters that kind of twist it into this one. Yeah, and it's interesting how you oh right, I already read that. But yeah, he was basically one of the things I was like, this is, and I wanted to have his design kind of reflect that, and maybe have like a branding of like on his neck of like Egyptian tattoos, and have his power be like not only super intelligence, but also like I took a little bit of inspiration from CW's Thinker, where not baby, maybe that it also comes out of a cost. Yeah, he's super smart, but also maybe like there's a mixture of like kind of like how Heimdall has like foresight, but he does, like he can see things coming from miles and miles away. He's super this, that, and the other, but he forgets the stuff right in front of him, like that could happen, and all the what's it called. So like he's very like there's like he has a lot of flaws and stuff. And I think that was one of the characters I fully thought was neat that I came up with. And I think he was like one of the characters I already had like a concrete, like having him be like Egyptian, very almost like gang inspired, but also like very interesting. Like maybe he like I put like a lot of inspiration from like Egyptian mythology, uh and some other stuff. I wanted it to have like that mix for his character. I think the main character, I just took a lot of myself. A lot of myself I put into the main character, and I actually used the last name of this channel, Stiti, for the actual name of the character. Because I thought it was before I came up with the channel name. And I thought that Jason that would work, and Jason for Jason Todd, and was mainly just because I thought Jason was the more tragic of the Robins. For Christ's sake, he is beaten to a bloody pulp by the Joker and blown the fuck up. Of course, you know. I think with him, I took a lot of just mirroring myself. I thought having like him, change up a lot of stuff, not to make him like an over like just a version of myself, but like give him his own character, but take a lot of my demons and make it twisted and kind of put it into the character. And I thought, wouldn't that would be kind of interesting, kind of put myself in that. And his power is actually interesting because it mostly evolves around the central point of his, most of the kids that when they unlock their power, it's mostly through trauma, but also basically it's like an extra, like their traits of what they already have as a person uh form into this ability, but it comes with its share of strengths and weaknesses. But for the main character, he's very super creative but cold and calloused. He's very dark but also can be very funny and light, but he's very, a lot of things. And his power, I thought, why not make the main character of the series, his main ability is just his creativity, his art, his like thing. He basically is taking the concept of Epic Mickey and putting it into a character where he has like this pen that has bonded to him to where he can control ink or basically do whatever. He can basically, if he wanted to, use the pen to make something to life by using this power, or basically taking the structure of something around him and changing it to like ink that he can control, and just have it like, if you ever saw Page Master, how that scene where goes from real to it starts becoming ink, and then slowly everything becomes cartoonish and stuff like that. It's kind of like that, but to the more extreme. Like he can control like even regular art substances or whatever. Like if you have like a liquid paint, he can control it and almost form it using his whatever and stuff like that. And I think it would be neat. I was taking some inspiration from The Mask, Active Mickey, Bendy and the Ink Machine, um, and just kind of like making a character that I thought that's never really been used before, like a concept, like someone who's like super creative. Like what could it's taking the concept of a comic creator into a comic, but how would you do that? Like I even thought of like a scene where he's using the pen and the liquid, he swings it around like a circle or swings it like a whip, and then like it stays in place, and then like he stands still and forms like a water bill and just blast it on the people, and then he can control them and make them, it takes over their body and makes them almost like inhuman, mutated and stuff, if he wants to be real dark and stuff like that. I thought stuff like that would be neat. Like every character has like a certain trait that becomes like that basically is amplified into their ability. And it's basically I couldn't really think of like a scientific way of explaining it. But it's a fucking comic and a graphic novel. I didn't think it needed one. Weirdly enough, I thought just having like someone that's super creative or someone that's an artist have that's their ability, I thought would be neat. Like I thought it would be a cool idea for a graphic novel, and like each character, it would have like each book or volume would tackle themes that are relatable but also like have a lot of heart to them. Like the first one I think would be tackling like the idea of not just hate. With Sphinx, it would be like grudges and like the cycle of hate, the violence, and also just like trauma and pain, and how that affects people in the worst way possible. But also, it had like some Venom themes, almost, and some other stuff. So for me, that was like I wanted to take some real world stuff, but I also wanted it to still feel like a comic, to where you can have fun. It doesn't have to be. everything doesn't have to have so much of an explanation, but I also just wanted it to have that feeling of something cool. And I wanted to do it in the future because I think there was a ton of characters that I came up with. I think one of them, like the female one, her ability is actually pretty kind of tragic. It's like she has multiple abilities, but one of them is like she kind of feels like a rogue-esque character mixed with like a few other things. I kind of like, because I wanted her ability to feel like she's just like great, like just to add insult to injury, like like just like that type of, like, make her very tragic and then also relatable. um and like each of the antagonists, they would be one for their own volume, but there would be like a shadowy figure which was the main antagonist, who was the reason that they were partially the reason why some of the stuff happens in the first place. And I thought that would be and each time, like each novel, he would be in the background, kind of like if you ever watched The Amazing Spider-Man, if you remember the guy in the hat from both those movies. That's kind of what I took from it, I think. I know this all sounds stupid and weird and dumb. It's just an idea. A few. I know how it sounds. It's probably just dumb. Dumb, 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 dumb. No, it's all good. Oh, okay. So I guess it's not dumb. uh, yeah. I'll probably finish this up and then start the control stream when I get upstairs. I never had someone so confidently talk about it. Well, thanks. Yeah, I guess I had I always wanted to do something. Like I've always been very creative, and I always, like, not just with my own ideas, like I'm very creative as a person. Like there's stuff that I want to do, like not just with my art stuff, like not just with create characters that I've made or stuff that I've wanted to work on. Like for instance, my version of the Lab Rats comic, taking from Disney XD's, would have been more using the same characters, but I would kind of take out that stupid, because I liked that serious tone that the show had. I hated when it was like, I liked a bit of goofiness, but I thought like, goofiness aside, it should have been more of a serious show. And I had like this way of, like, I wanted to change it and make it a comic book, but I also wanted to take those same characters, change them up a bit, but I also wanted to make it more serious. So like for Bree being the female character, I kind of wanted to take, at first she comes off the same way she does in the show. She's like the sister. She's like she's your typical girl character that you would, but she kind of slowly becomes her own, instead of, like, she kind of like changes a little bit, where Chase is like, obviously, because Bree is like she has fast bionics and some other stuff, but she's like the legs basically. While Chase is the brain. I think his character arc would be becoming, he, even he's intelligent, he's very, I think he would have this, I would change him to be like, not only being, he might be the smart one, but he's kind of like the one that's overly, he's very, I don't know how I would describe him, how I would change him, but I would make him less like your typical, like, not really your nerd character, but he would be very, he's not, he doesn't see himself in the same light. Yeah, he's super smart, but he doesn't see himself as really important as people are telling him he is, or because he's treated like crap because he's so smart or because he's this or that, and he kind of sees it more like a curse. And his arc at first, the first glance would be not only self-acceptance, but also I think I would have it to where he also kind of slowly begins to kind of like gain a bit of empathy and kind of like try to appreciate his family and stuff, and become like the leader. Like he doesn't see himself as the leader, he sees himself as like the like anything but that. And I think that would be his arc. And I think Adam, being the stronger but also the dumber one, would kind of start, I think his arc would be kind of like also gaining some like intelligence and kind of like, trust, like becoming like less of the muscle but also more of the heart of the bionic trio. And I think how I would change some stuff. I think Leo would be still the little brother, but I think he would have the heart role, but I think he would also have the role of kind of like the same one that he had in the show of like getting the bionic, kids to the school, but also giving them a normal life. But I also think he would kind of have more than just that. I think that I would change some things about his character. Him being more socially awkward, I think that would be a new thing that'd be cool. Him kind of like getting messed with because of the fact that he has a rich dad and some other stuff. I think that would be a neat little thing that really wasn't touched on. Yeah, he gets messed with, but he doesn't really. There's not really a legit reason to why he's messed with. And then Douglas, I think when he's at his most seriousness, I think like how I would change his role is give him a similar role to what is his name? I don't know if you've ever read the X-Men, but do you know X-23? The cloned daughter of Wolverine. Basically, he would have that role kind of, but in between, where he's kind of like his how I would picture how everything went down. I would change a lot. Like, yes, some things would stay the same. Some characters would show up. Like Marcus, I think Marcus, how him being less cartoony, raised eyebrows, stuff like that. I think he would have like a villain arc of like just kind of like envy and mistrust. I think he would even portray Douglas at a point. I think there was so many things I wanted to keep, like even though that show was like a live action sitcom cartoony, like when it was serious and when it did have depth, it was there and it was pretty cool to see. But then there was like a lot of stuff that I didn't like. Like there's a lot of things, like I'm very passionate about like ideas and coming up with stuff. Like for Christ's sake, I had like a lot of cool ideas for like a Green Goblin concept for the Insomniac Spider-Man. I think a full-on script for a sequel to Infamous Second Son, taking some inspiration from some YouTubers and some stuff. I like when it's, even if it's not my own concept, I just don't know why, but I'm just that weirdly creative and confident to put my ideas out there. Now I know that some people, oh, you just stealing, and they'll steal them and stuff like that, which that's just a given with the internet. That's a given. But there's some stuff that they can't really steal because, like, you know, just the sheer factor of like, I don't know, just I think some stuff is easy to. I think I don't know what it is, but the cape. I know that one side's darker than the other, but that's mostly just because I've layered it so much. I would use the light spray bottle, but I don't know if that'll really screw me over in the long run. This is going to be interesting. I know it's probably already looks great and stuff like that. I'm just going to dry this part off. I'm just kind of trying to give it more of a depth of field. I think for me, like my brain is constantly, for some things, if it's something I really like or it's something that I feel it has potential to really be better than what it is, or not even be better, but just feel like it could really, there's something there, lack of a better word. There is something there that you could do. And I feel like if there is something there, I want to really do something with it, like really try. I think I probably screwed this up, but I don't. Come on. Damn it. Fudge. I'm trying. I think for me, it's a secondary thing of just feeling like if there's potential to something and I really like it and I like the concept enough and I feel like there's something that could be done, I can do it. Like there's got to be a way I can do it. Because I don't think it, at least for me, I don't think that there's enough people in the world that have that mindset and they're that creative, and I really wish there was. And I'm not tooting my own horn here. I'm not gonna sit there and have an ego and say I'm the most creative, I'm the most this. No. I just think that if more people had that in their head to where they're that way, I think it would be cool. Because I think that a lot of people, there's a lot there is creative people, but there's just not like enough that have the mindset of like, at least from what I've encountered, like have that type of mindset even from the age of 10 or 2. Because that's how long I've had this mindset, for that long, I think. And it's as weirdly as it is, I think that if more people had that mindset to really push boundaries and have like, because everybody's afraid to talk about topics or push stuff, and really push boundaries to what we could do. I guess that's the more disappointing thing, is that everybody wants to tell a story, but none of them want to do it terribly. It's just the problem isn't like, it's not always just the writing that's the problem. It's the art of more just, I don't really know. I think there's ways we get caught up in our own heads to where we feel like we can't do it, we can't do this, it's not working. It's more just that, I guess. And I probably screwed up the entirety of the side, but I'm going to probably do something with it anyways, so that doesn't matter. Yeah. Sorry for the little ramble. um, Sorry for that. Huh. I'm gonna finish this up just a little bit, and then I am going to go upstairs and start that stream. So, like, 'cause I think I've done enough messing around. Don't you have you ever had any concepts for any characters of your own that you wanted to do, Beta? Or never? I've had tons. Ah, see? You know, two peas in a pod then. But I take it that probably some of them weren't as really as completely thought out, or as, I don't know. I am trying to get this stinking cape to look right. The shadowing is god awful. I have sometimes I don't put those, and sometimes I do. Ah, okay. It says two people are watching. I take it I know one's you. At least somebody's enjoying the stream. I am going to finish this up. I still need to do the armor bits, so I gotta paint this, which is tricky. You know, actually, funny enough, Beta, I had a cool idea for a Green Goblin from Insomniac's concept, which I thought was pretty cool at some point, at least. But I think I'll wait till I stream Control here in a bit. I'm just trying to get this thing to look right. Hold on. I think I'm gonna, after this, after I get this shoulder done and get this squared away, I will go upstairs and put in Control and start that stream. Plus, somebody should be cooking dinner, so he'll probably interrupt midway through. So I'm finishing this up though. Probably sorry if it doesn't look the greatest. I'm trying my best. Don't have to apologize. Yeah, no. I just still. I guess I can be a little over apologetic. I just care. I don't like wasting people's time or pissing them off. Or just anything in general. Fuckity fuck. Kind of. Yeah. I think I'm done. I'm gonna start that stream here in a second. Okay. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. I don't know. Might try to color correct this and stuff in the future. Maybe use some gouache paint. And all that jazz. So hopefully you guys enjoyed. Sorry if the stream was not the greatest. I'm just trying to get this stupid thing to look right. I am terrible. I am not on my A game tonight, art-wise. Crap. And then put this like that. And I think it is somewhat okay to where I can end it here. So, hope you guys fucking enjoy. Blah, 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 blah. Enough shilling. I think I'm done here. So, yeah. I'll leave afterwards. I think I'll make this stream public. And, yeah. See you in a bit with the control stream. Bye-bye.